We on.
Shalom.
Shalom.
We would like to say call Haloyim. Yahweh Ba Hashem, Yahweh Shai Ba Hashem Rachakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that have taught us this truth, who do rule and who do teach will. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect. Shalom. I'm the brother Yahweh Sap along with the brother.
I will love you.
We come back at you with another lesson. So here it is, I was reading this article, right? And this article came out a few days ago. I believe it came out February 11th. All right. And, this is from local news. All right. And the title of this lesson, in which the article is called Illinois to Ditch Paper Vehicle Titles for Digital System. All right. And they talking about if this is going to happen, they're going to switch the system by, July. All right. And which I don't believe shit that Esau said anyway. This is the devil that the Bible speaks of. This dude's a damn liar, man. You don't put nothing past this damn devil. Concerning wickedness, all right? Concerning him being a liar, man. This dude may just, just move on with this plan and just get it right on, man.
All right. This is a part of Esau's New World Order, man, about ultimately having everybody microchipped and everybody monitored at all times, man. This is something that has been in the plans for the longest, man. You look at on the back of your dollar bill, Novos Ordo Securium. Which I believe it says New Order of the Ages.
Yep.
Ultimately, this is what Esau Edom is ultimately trying to do, man. He's trying to proclaim himself as God on the planet Earth. You got it, yo, what's up?
But this is the title, right? This the article right here. Springfield, Illinois. This year, the Illinois Secretary of State Office, which is the DMV, right, will switch to an electronic lion and titling program designed to eliminate paper vehicle titles and in-person DMV visits. All right, and that where vehicle is code name for dollar. All right, or any type of paper system that you got going on, man. Not only just the dollar, man. And let me keep on reading. All right. First adopted in 2024, the ELT program will become mandatory at Illinois driver's service facilities and replace paper titles with a secure digital system. Secretary of State Alexei Giannolius announced Wednesday moving to mandatory electronic line and titling. Y'all can read the rest of this on your own. All right. The name of this, this website is mystateline.com/news. Okay. But yeah, man, Esau is moving with his plan, man. All right. So let me get this First Corinthians first, man. The Second Corinthians. Because hey, we're not ignorant of Satan's devices, man. All right. You most definitely not ignorant of this dude's devices.
Yep. And Esau Edom has been, doing this for the longest, man. But ultimately, what the Lord gave us the eyes to see, and ultimately to see what this devil is doing, man. But you got it, outside.
This is the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 2, verse 11. Least Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. We've seen this amount of way, Esau. All right. We've seen this amount of way, starting with the apostle elders of Great Millstone, man. All right. And the apostles before the apostles that teach today have seen this, man. Okay. So we know y'all moving, y'all playing, man, while y'all got the whole world distracted. All right. With sports, baseball season coming on. All right, you got the March Madness with the college basketball, ready to be men's basketball, women's basketball, and etc. Man,
yeah. All
right, and all these sporting events happening. Yeah. Okay,
and this is nothing but gradualism, man. How ultimately Esau Edom is, slightly, moving along with his digital system, man. How he's making everything convenient. Hey, just for an example, right? Everything is, touch and go. You got things like Apple Pay. Things like that, man. You remember the bus cards back in the day? Now you got venture cards. It's a tap and go.
Then you got the link card to slide through. Now you got to tap the link card now.
Yeah, yep. So all these different things are, signs of gradualism till we get to the big, which is that RFID chip, man, which is the mark of the beast in Revelation 13. We can actually grab that real quick. The one
Revelation.
Yep, Revelation says start at verse 14.
Yeah. But yeah, man, just to add on to what I was saying, Esau, he using all these, events, ready to be sports, all right, ready to be, news media and stuff. He put news, like for example, the Epstein files, which are real files, by the way. But it's a cover up of this devil bringing in the system, man, under you people's nose, you know. But here it is. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 13. And allow me to start at 14. And deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles, which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast which has the wound by a sword and did live.
We're talking about the Roman Empire, man, because if you really, I believe it's Malachi, the first chapter.
In the fourth verse.
In the fourth verse, it talks about Esau Edom, essentially coming back into power during a Renaissance period, man. The rebirth.
Yep.
Ultimately when Esau Edom came, you had Jake ruling for 1,000 years. That's when Esau went down. But when Esau got back into power during a Renaissance, that was the revival of the Roman Empire, man, in the form of America, And ultimately, ever since, man, he's been building up towards his digital system, man, his RFID chip, man, which he's planning to chip the whole world.
Them great miracles goes to Esau, this Neuralink thing. Elon Musk, he's the face of that, man. But we already know who's the real people behind the propaganda of implanting people with RFID chips, at least the 13 banking families.
Yep.
Amalek, man, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the Bilderbergs, the Bloombergs, the Soros, the Gettys, the Gates, the Oppenheimers, the Disneys, the Dukes, the Morgans, and so on and so forth, man. Those guys, man. They the people behind this thing, man. All right? They are the devil that the Bible speaks of, man. But here it is. Allow me to continue on in that Revelations. Salaki. Man, I mean, just give them the testimony, it just, I made me drop it.
Yeah, be like that.
But here it is, man. Back in this Revelations chapter 13, verse 14 again, and deceive them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles, which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live.
Right, that image ultimately painted by the Roman system, man. Ultimately, what culminating in the New World Order, man. And ultimately, just to just to go back to that verse, it says, "Deceive them, by the means of those miracles," because with this RFID chip, Esau Edom is making people quote unquote walk again. Like you mentioned, the whole Neuralink. People can play video games with their mind by the way of this chip, man.
People, that can't see, that are blind, make them see again. People that are deaf, make them hear again. People that can't talk, that are dumb, make them talk again.
Yep.
All right. And I want to get this, it's the book of 2 Thessalonians
2.
Yep, 2. All right. And allow me to start at 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except they come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition.
All right, we fell away, man. What happened? What doing 70 AD, man, and then ultimately what doing the transatlantic slave trade when we lost our heritage. So the falling away already happened, but here in this age, man, the Lord is waking us up through this word. And also, when you can read that last part of that verse too.
Come. All right. The son of man, let me read again. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition.
Right, the son of destruction. Who is that? Esau Edom, man, the so-called white race, man. They're being revealed, man. By first and foremost by his word, man. That Yahweh Shemel Shai set up his men to preach. And ultimately what? His inner workings, man. This devil is being revealed on all sides, man. Scripture say, I will destroy him with the spirit of my mouth, and then the brightness of my coming.
Yeah, that's coming too. That's the spirit, who opposes and exalts himself above all that is called the Most High, or that is worshipped, so that he is as the Most High, sitteth in the temple of the Most High, shewing himself that he is the Most High.
Right. So ultimately, he's trying to proclaim himself as God because Yahweh can see all things, man. He's all knowing. He's all seeing. He can see everything. Yahweh can see everything. How about Shemal Shai can see everything? And Esau Edom wants that power for himself by ultimately implanting this RFID chip into people. We can see where everybody is at all times, man.
It tells you in Isaiah the 14th chapter, just land back off of that, man. That he's selling the stars of the Most High, which are what? The Israelites. All right. And he's going to sit in the place of the north, which is America. All right. He's going to be as the Most High.
Yep.
So, all right. This is the book of 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 5. Remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things, and now ye know what withhold that he might be revealed in his time. It has been Esau's task since the late 60s to early 70s. All right, well, Abba Bivens popped on the scene, started preaching his word, man. All right.
Yep.
That's when it started, man. That was the downfall of America, downfall of Esau started right there.
Yep.
You
And
know?
when this word began preach, like you said, and what's that, the late 60s, early 70s, man?
Yep.
You know, and ultimately what we're seeing Esau's downfall right before our eyes, man, because this RFID chip is his last hurrah, man. You know, because it talks about it, what's that in Job? It says they have bounds that he cannot pass.
Yep.
You know, so ultimately what? You know, we're reaching the bounds that he cannot pass, man, because the Lord is not going to let this devil fulfill his NWO agenda. It's only so far that this devil is going to go.
Also, church in the book of Job that the Heavenly Father's going to rain upon him while he's eating, man.
Yep.
You know, so he's not going to be able to, accomplish his enterprise. So here it is, man. You know, verse 7, for the mystery of iniquity doeth already work. Only he will let until he be taken out of the way.
What's that talking about, man? Esau Edom, man. He has to be taken out of the way. That's why Revelation 11 says what? Destroy of him which destroy the earth. You know, and he's destroying everything. And these different data centers that he's building up also is a big part of that. You know, putting this RFID chip into fruition, man. These different data centers, you know, things like that, man. You know.
So yeah, man. Yeah, how about Shimon Shai? All right, had this dude Mark, man. All right, ever since you basically came. All right, and getting Mark came, man. You know, the first part of that mark is that nobody touch him.
Yep.
All right, that he's protected. All right, to a time period. All right, and we're living in that time period now.
Yep.
Esau's about to get touched. Okay.
Let's go back to that Revelation 13. It was still some more to that whenever you was done with that Second Thessalonians, right?
Almost.
All right, yeah. Let's go back to that Revelation 13 after that. After the fact. You can finish that Second Thessalonians.
That's the book of Second Thessalonians chapter 2. This is the book of Second Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 8. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming.
Right, the spirit of his mouth. The prophet, the Lord's, setting up his men to preach this word to expose this devil. And it says with the brightness of his coming, because Isaiah 47 says, what? I would not meet thee as a man. So Yahweh Shai, Yahweh's going to send his son Yahweh Shai back to ultimately what? Literally take this devil out of power, man.
Via the chariots, man, that fathership.
Yep.
That's going to blast that beam of light out, destroying the armies of the earth, all right, and destroying America ultimately, along with the thermonuclear missiles, Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan with all power and science and lying wonders. And that's the AI technology, man, along with the RFID chip, the robotic dogs, the robotic soldiers that this devil has out here, man. All right, AI via the internet, man. That's all part of Esau's science and lying wonders right there.
Right. It's the part of the signs and lying wonders, man, because I believe in Esdras, it talks about, what's that? The bitter shall be found in the sweet, truth mixed with lies.
Yep.
Because there's a lot of madness and there's a lot of deceit going on, man. AI being one of them, man. So Esau Edom is ultimately what? Confusing the minds of the people, man. So when this RFID chip, really gets pushed, to the masses of the people, man, they ain't gonna know what to do, man. They're gonna ultimately bow down to this man's system, man. This man's new world order.
And whom the God of this world have blinded the minds of them which believe not, least the light of the glorious gospel of Hamashiach to shine unto them, man, who's the God of this world, man. According to Isaiah the 14th chapter, who's Lucifer.
That's
all right, the light bearer, man. All right, now word light bearer or Lucifer goes into what? Being the son of the morning, man, the son of light. All right. Being, the illuminated ones. That's where you get the word Illuminati from, in which they refer themselves as being. All right. Yup. The wisdom of this world. Okay. So that's who's behind all this, man, And it's ironic that we back in this Revelation chapter 13, verse 15. And he, which is Esau, have power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast shall both speak, and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed.
What is the image of the beast, man? All culminating in a new world order, but his philosophies, his military, his money system, man, all those different things, resulting in a new world order. That's the image of the beast, man. And ultimately, what he's going to give you, ultimately, to get you people to bow down by ultimately taking that chip, which is going to get into, man.
And in part, and by you, by you should be killed, right? That's him cutting off of society.
Yep.
All right. If you don't take the chip, you won't be able to eat, you won't be able to drink, and you won't be you be homeless basically.
Yeah, so go into it.
You know. Verse 16, and he calls us all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads.
And who is the he? The elite banking families, man. You know, the Rothschilds, you know, the DuPonts, you know, these different, you know, elite families, they're going to cause the whole world to ultimately what? To take this chip, man. They're going to force it upon the people, man. You know, because ultimately what? This is going to be the new form of currency. You're buying, you're selling it to get your everyday needs, man, to pay your bills. You know, everything is going to be digital, man. The only forms of payment is going to be through that chip.
Everything that you got use beneficial can be through that chip.
That's right.
As times to come, you know. If you're gonna have a car, therefore that's why they got, that's why they got, gas and cars out now. It's for you to use the chip, man, in order to turn it on, man.
Mhm.
Your new keys for your crib, your house, and the settle is gonna be used due to what? That chip, man. The article I was reading. All right, your CDLs, man, your license, all right, your driver's license, your IDs,
Yo, everything.
your everything, man, is gonna be on that chip.
Yeah, and also, hey, Elder Apostle Gabar always bring out the interview with Aaron Russo, man. They said when he said, well, you know, Aaron Russo's own words, hey, if you piss off the banking families, man, they gonna have the power to cut off your chip, man. You know,
Done. Verse 17, and that no man might bow or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name.
yep. And that word mark goes into the word karagma, you know, which is what that incision, man. You know, ultimately, what that's the you know the beauty of looking at words, man. You know, because I believe that's different. It's different from the mark in Ezekiel. You were the one of Ezekiel. What's that? 9 goes into the word tawah.
From judgment.
Yeah, but this goes into the word karagma, man. You know, which ultimately means what? Incision, man.
Yup.
You know, so it's something. It's a thing inserted, man. You know, hey, going to these, you know, guys at the IUIC, you know, saying there's everything else but the chip, man. So these guys completely going off, man.
And they got to use a Corox, which is a needle,
Yep.
in order to puncture, your skin off for that chip to get put underneath your hand or your forehead, whatever the case may be.
Yep.
Which proves that these other camps are wrong. All right, they going off. All right. Verse 18, here's wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 603 scoring 666. Cassie stigma.
Shy stigma.
Kai stigma.
Yep.
Yup.
Ultimately, because this devil is looking to brand all you people, man. You know, that's what this devil is essentially trying to do, man. You grab that in Deuteronomy 15 and 17.
I was going there. That's spirit.
Yep.
Huh?
Hey, because ultimately it's a badge of servitude, man. You know, if you ultimately take this chip, you're saying that the so-called white man is your God.
Your power.
Yep. And it's a
that,
judgment for that.
Yep. Huge judgment. 15 and 17.
Yes, sir.
Yep. It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 15, verse 17. Then thou shalt take an oath.
Start out verse, or what's the verse above it say? Verse 16.
All right, so this verse 16. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 15, verse 16. And it shall be, if he say unto thee, I will not go away from thee, because he loveth thee, and thine house, because he is well with thee. Nope. This 17 is what you want.
No, read verse 16 and read down, because it ultimately, before you get to 17, it goes to read verse 16.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 15, verse 16. And it shall be, if he say unto thee, I will not go away from thee, because he loveth thee, and thine house, because he is well with thee.
Right, because this is the mindset of these people. You know, because if you ultimately take this trip, you're saying to the so-called white man, I love you. I want to be your slave, you know? And this was a law, going, for our people of ultimately what you had an Israelite servant, and ultimately what, if that Israelite, wanted to be a part of his master's household, you put a all in his ear, man. But just to relate it to, what this devil was doing, man, ultimately when these people bow down and take that chip, you're basically saying to the so-called white man, hey, I love you and I want to be your servant. I want you to be my God. That's essentially what these people are going to say when they take that chip, man. That's essentially what you're saying to you. How about Shem Yahushua, man? We're really talking about our people.
Then thou shalt take an awl and thrust it through his ear unto the door. and he shall be thy servant forever. And also unto thy maid servant thou shalt do likewise.
Right. So ultimately, if you take that chip, man, hey, you're basically saying, to the so-called white man, you basically telling you how about Shemal Shai, you prefer the so-called white man as your God, man. Because this chip, it's the way of saying that, you'll rather prefer the so-called white man be your God, man. You know?
And there's a major judgment come for that, man. You know? And you don't want that judgment. That's the worst judgment of all fucking time, man. All right? It's the book of Revelation, chapter 14. And allow me to start at 8. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand. All right. So if you believe in this system, man, all right, whether it be politics, voting for these politicians and believe what they say and what's being said on the news, and not, having, the discernment of what's going on in this world and not serving Yahweh Shemal Shai. Anything outside of Yahweh Shemal Shai is Esau, man. All right. Then you believe in the beast, man. If you take the RFID chip, the mark, that specifically tells you that you're down with this devil.
Right. And they go have their place in the lake of fire, man, which is America completely on fire by the way of those nukes. But it's going to jump into it.
Yep. Verse 10, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb.
Right. Who is the Lamb? Yahweh Shai, man. So ultimately, if you take that chip, you're going to have a missile with your name on it. And you're going to have your place in the lake of fire. And the lake of fire is America on fire after the missiles hit this place, man. You know?
And the smoke of their torment ascendeth up forever and ever. And they have no rest day nor night, who worship the image, worship the beast like it and his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name.
Right. If you worship this system and you take that mark of the beast, which is that chip, you're going to be destroyed. Simply put.
Come.
If it's a little bit more to the, you can grab. Well, I got one more that come to mind. Grab that Revelations 3 and 10.
Come. I got Revelation chapter 14. 16.
Yes, sir.
This is the book of Revelation chapter 16. And allow me to start at 1. And I heard a great voice out of the temple saying in the seventh, saying to the 70. Allow me to read that again. So like it. This is the book of Revelation chapter 16, verse 1. And I heard a loud voice out of the temple saying to the 7 angels, go your ways and pour out the vows of the wrath of the Most High upon the earth. All right, judgment. And the first went and poured out his veil unto the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast, and upon them worship, all right, his image.
Right, because that RFID chip, which is the mark of the beast, is going to emit radiation throughout the body, man, which is going to cause what? Cancer, which is going to cause a lot of people to be sick, be put to death, man, and that's what is going to happen, man. That RFID chip is going to emit radiation throughout the body. A lot of those people is going to get that grievous sore, man, which is what? That cancer.
It's the book of Revelation, chapter 3, verse 10. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth.
Right. The Lord is going to keep us from the hour of temptation. What's the hour of temptation? When this RFID chip gets implemented worldwide throughout the 4 corners of the world, it's going to be what? Mandatory for you to take that chip if you want to ultimately participate in this man's society. But what? Since we, stood 10 toes down for Yahweh Shemal Shai, he's going to what? Put the spirit on this man not to take that chip, to resist it.
Behold, I come quickly, and hold that fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown.
Right, and it begins with us, man. Hey, hold on to your crown, man. Hey, because even Apostle Paul, I believe it was Apostle Paul that said in the book of Timothy's, was it 2 Timothy's? I have fought the good fight of faith. There's a crown of righteousness laid up for me, man. So ultimately, man, we have to fight for our crown, man. We have to stand 10 toes down for Yahweh Shemal Shai, man. We have to keep the faith and we have to keep that hope that the Lord is going to deliver us, man.
So yeah, man, And like they say in the world, man, get down for your crown, man.
Hmm.
And that's what we're doing. All we trying to do, man.
That's a future lesson topic right there. Get down for your crown.
Yup. That's what we were trying to do, man. So that's all we want to get into, man. Because hey, man, this Esau's about to implement this system in people's faces while y'all distracted, man. So with that, Lord willing, that was edifying. We would like to say, call her lawyer. Yahweh Ba Hashem, Yahweh Shai Ba Hashem B'Chapadash. Double honors to the apostles, the elders, the great millstone that have taught us this truth, who do rule and who do teach well. Peace and salutations to the hopefully elect shall one Kwame Yasha'Allah, most importantly, a Bible ball.
Kwame Yasharallah, Shalom, a Bible ball.
On to the next one.
On to the next one.